WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday night.
Highly favored and blessed and excited.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday evening. I know I am. It's a little cool out there this evening, but it's a wonderful time as I enjoy my vacation. I'm on vacation from work for the next few days here. Excited about that, but unfortunately, my vacation is not quite the vacation I had hoped it would be. As the wives like to do, the wife has me at home doing projects, and so my vacation is being spent painting. And so, as you might imagine, painting is not quite the vacation. But I'm gonna press forward anyway and try and enjoy these next few days that I have off from work. It's always a pleasure, in my opinion, when you have some days where you don't have to go in and check in for your boss, whomever that might be. But we'll keep it moving here. It is Wednesday. As always, this is Real Family Talk. Like I said, this is your host, Jay Real. I got Miss McCray in the building with me tonight. How you doing, Miss McCray?
Hey, I'm blessed, everybody. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Miss McCray. I got no complaints whatsoever. Enjoying this cool weather. You know, it is March. And in March, I know it's not supposed to be 50 degrees, but I'm enjoying this 50-degree weather tonight, Miss McCray. I'm kind of loving that cool breeze that you get when you walk outside, that slight need for at least a small jacket. I don't mind. I don't mind 1 or 2 days of that, even in March. But we'll see what happens for the rest of the week. I think we're supposed to get some rain for the rest of the week, unfortunately. But we'll keep it moving anyway and try and enjoy the weather, because it is Florida, and this is just what you have to deal with sometimes when you live in Florida. At least it's better than snow. That's what I'm saying. At least it's better than snow. So we got this evening, we're going to kind of pick up and continue where we've been talking for the last few weeks. We've been talking about men and women and whether or not they will or won't commit to relationships and the reason that they do. We're going to continue that and kind of take it and move it a step forward in the conversation and discuss dating. What are some of the rules of dating that exist out there, and what are the rules that Christians should follow when it comes to dating? So we're gonna play with some of these topics. See what you guys have to say. We'll talk about it here in the studio. Remember to join our conversations. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. So keep listening for the next hour as we discuss these topics. But first, as always, I like to bring up a couple of hot news stories that I saw that were happening this week. The first one here that comes to mind, Nick Cannon. Everybody knows Nick Cannon. Nickelodeon, America's Got Talent host, and a host of other things. He's also a comedian, been doing it for a long time. But he caught some flack this week because they say he dressed up as a white man, and then he went around and he was acting like a white man. And he caught a lot of flack because they say, wait a minute, a white person can't dress up in blackface and people find it funny. So how is it that this black man is going to dress up in whiteface and yet now he's the funniest thing? He's going to be funny and blah, 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 make fun of white people and so forth. How is that right when I can't do that as a white person. Basically, was the controversy. To me, I really wasn't. Certainly not offended by Nick Cannon dressing up as a white man. I'm sure it was very funny. Eddie Murphy did it a number of years back when he was on Saturday Night Live. You got the Wayans boys did a whole movie in whiteface, if you will, for the most part, when they did White Chicks. And that was, it was all right. Mediocre, but it certainly wasn't paying by the paying by people. They got some good love on that. But yeah, no, we don't want to see white people dressed up in blackface. It's not necessary. I think there's a context for it, and sure, you can always look at the context of when it happens and judge it based on that. But in general, no, that's not something that you typically want to see. There's a historical preference to that, of course, And so, there's some historical preference to that, and we understand that as people. So get over it. It's just one of those things where, no, we typically don't want to see white people dressed up in blackface, but a white man acting like a black man acting like a white man in makeup and the idiosyncrasy and doing some of those things that we characterize or stereotype white people to act like. I think there's some comedy in that. What do you have to say about that, Ms. McCray? What do you think? Are you offended by Nick Cannon and quote unquote whiteface?
I wasn't offended. I just thought it was stupid. It just wasn't smart. And so apparently after reading some comments or the articles related to that, his album is entitled White People Music or White People Rock Music, something about white people music. And so he created this character to go along with the rollout of his new album that's coming. It's Nick Cannon. I'm not going to go get the album anyway. So, like you said, what he does in his life, it doesn't bother me. I just thought it was stupid because, watch, next month, when a white boy comes out and he's like, oh, I'm going to entitle my album Black People Music, and he's going to dress up in blackface. And then what? People going to be upset. So it just wasn't smart. Yeah, white chicks happen. But even within, times have changed now. Things are just real testy right now. Just don't play. Don't do that. It just wasn't cute to me. Move on, Nick Cannon. Do better.
Well, I'm sure he will be moving on as soon as that album comes out. That's what he was promoting. As soon as that album comes out and he does his best representation to supply the people with the music that they want to hear. Whatever that may be, as you said, Ms. McCray, I certainly am not going to be checking for the Nick Cannon album. But, hey, more power to him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's doing music these days. Nick Cannon is it's not like it's his first album. This is, I think, the second album for him. And I know he also works with a lot of musical acts, too, in terms of on the production side as well. So it's just an extension of what he's trying to do. So more power to him. He's got a lot of jobs, Nick Cannon. So
yeah, I'm not mad at the other things.
Another job on his belt.
But it's called White People Party Music.
White People Party Music.
That's the name of the album.
All righty then. Well, I hope the white people party. I hope the white people party. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Another story I saw, and I know you're probably very tuned in on this one, Miss McCray. Apparently, he's no longer P. Diddy. He's back to Puff Daddy.
I missed that story. I missed it.
You missed that one.
Important news that's been happening the last couple of days. I missed that Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, whomever, has changed his name once again.
Yet again, he is back to Puff Daddy.
Bruh, really?
I know the world was dying to realize that he's back to Puff Daddy, but he is now Puff Daddy yet again. He is no longer P. Diddy. Mr. King is in the building. How you doing, Mr. King?
Hey.
Hey to you too, sir. Hey to you as well. One more thing I saw here in the news here as well. Of course, one, it looks like we may have finally found this plane that's been missing for approximately 2 weeks now. So hopefully the families can get some resolved and some closure here as hopefully these parts that they found turn out to be the parts of the plane, and at least they'll have confirmation, at least, that they are actually gone and not just missing. So that's some semi-good news, because they haven't officially said that the wreckage is a part of the plane yet, but that is still the speculation. So we'll see. Hopefully those families can get some closure to that as well. Then number two, of course, the Russia-Ukraine crisis. You talk about important news, Ms. McCray. That seems to continue to slowly escalate. Putin is not backing down. They do not care about any of these sanctions that the U.S. and some of the European governments are trying to issue, so that they're moving forward with what seems to be a takeover, potentially at least, of a potential takeover of the Crimea area there in Ukraine, and potentially more. We'll see. I know the world is kind of impatiently waiting to see what Russia is going to do in that particular crisis. What do you think about that, Ms. McCray?
Just to point out just what I said before, there are more important things that have been going on. The plane, the things that's going on with Russia, the mudslide over on the West Coast. Like, these are the things that I've been reading about and thinking about, other than P. Diddy changing his name once again. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's getting really crazy out there. But, that's just the world that we live in today. So.
Yeah, it is part of the world that we live in. You're right, sir. You're right. What are you gonna do? We'll keep our hearts and prayers out to those families, and hopefully Putin will back down. I don't have any faith in that, but hopefully that will be the case, so we can get some kind of, at least, so we can avoid a war. Because that's my fear with that whole Russia situation, is that ultimately I don't necessarily think we're gonna go to war. Hopefully, I hope not. I think we'll probably shoot them some weapons or something pretty soon here, but hopefully we can avoid the war situation. And that's what I'm hoping. We can avoid that war where America has to step in and send troops over to another foreign country to protect them, as opposed to protect our own interests, because it's not our interests. We're protecting their interests, really. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely keep our eye on that particular situation. Speaking of news, is there anything you saw out there, Miss McCray?
Those were the main stories. That plane was really like just sticking to my mind. I can't imagine what those families are going through. It's one thing to lose somebody and you hope to be able to send them off respectfully in their celebration of life service, but when you don't know where your family member is, and all the people in charge can say, oh, they're probably somewhere in the Indian Ocean, which is the deepest portion of the ocean in the world. Like, for me, my mind just goes all to the wrong places, and the thought of my loved one being just lost, not knowing where they are, I think that's the worst part. And so if they can find it at this point, I hate to say, but I believe we all can understand that something bad has happened, and it should just give these people some type of closure. Find the black box, help these people grieve and grieve in a process where they can have some type of closure. It's devastating as is, but that plane, every night I'm praying for those family members, for everybody involved. It's really sad, and it's a mystery, and who knows what really happened.
Yeah,
that's good. Go ahead, man.
Did they fly over the Bermuda Triangle? Did they fly over the Bermuda Triangle?
No, I don't think that was the part of the country, or not the country, but the world where the Bermuda Triangle was. They don't know what happened. They don't know if this pilot decided to just kill himself and everybody else. They don't know. They just know that the plane was off track. It was way off from where they were supposed to originally be going. And it's just sad. I
Right.
already don't like to fly, so this is just not helping my situation.
Well, I was listening on the way in one of the comments from a gentleman who works to retrieve information off of different cell phones and things of that nature. And he was saying that hopefully once they do recover the wreckage, if they can find some of these people's cell phones, they should be able to go back and retrieve text messages that they may have sent out just before they died, or maybe some people made video monitors or videos of themselves as they were dying, and maybe discuss what the problem may have been during the plane. So they're hoping to retrieve that information, because they say even if the cell phone has been in the ocean, they say up to several months, they can go back into that cell phone and retrieve that information off of there, and hopefully if the black box is gone, retrieve and piece together what actually happened and what the problem was on that particular plane. So
They really think the phones can work?
yeah, they say they can go back even after months and retrieve information off the cell phones. Yep.
So AT&T, Sprint, everybody, they've been jipping us this whole time? Because let my phone drop into some water right now. It's not going to work. The whole put it in rice thing, some people say that works, but most likely it's not going to work if I get a drop of water. So you mean to tell me if this thing is submerged in the Indian Ocean, they can pull data from it?
That's what I was hearing. There was a gentleman that works in that industry and said, not necessarily for AT&T, but he works in
I'm just saying.
He works to be able to retrieve information off of devices, and he said, yeah, if there's information on there, even after months underneath the ocean, they can go in and retrieve, maybe a video memorial that person may have left just before they died, or the last few text messages that they might have sent that might hold some clue as to why the plane went down and so forth. So that's hopefully, like I said, some kind of closure can come to these people. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Mr. McCray, tell me, did you have any more thoughts about what we were talking about last week as you went home?
What? What are y'all saying about our
topics from last week? So last week, of course, we were talking about women and men and the reasons why they don't commit. And then, like I said, this week we're going to expand that and move it forward and talk about dating and some of the rules of dating that exist out there. But did you have any more thoughts about the topic from last week before we move on, Ms. McCray?
I've had plenty of thoughts about it, but let's get into this week and let's see what comes out.
Well, just give me one of them, Ms. McCray. What were you thinking as you went home there, Ms. McCray?
It just really depends. I hate to put a blanket brush upon men and women. I don't like that when people say, oh, all women do this, all men do this. It's really about that individual person. And I'm one that I can say I've dated some absolutely fantastic men. Like, and that's just real talk. I hate when women say, oh, there are no good men available. There's some fantastic men around this world. We just didn't match. I'm not saying that they were bad people. They're excellent. They're probably, most of them, let me think, some of them are married, some of them are in relationships. Pretty much they're with other people and they're making them happy. And that's great because there is somebody for everybody. We just did not match. And so for everything I've learned on and built upon every relationship, and just look at each individual guy I meet as an individual and take it from there.
Oh, all right. Well, I see Mr. King certainly has something to say.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, if he has moved on and married with kids, I'm just wondering, was it him that was the problem in the relationship?
It was us.
Oh.
We don't match.
Y'all both
So
don't
he
drown.
met someone who meets his match and fulfill his needs a little bit more. And I have dated other people that fulfilled my needs. And I just wasn't ready to be married at the time when that particular relationship happened.
A caller called in and said, basically, that kind of sounds like you're controlling.
No, that's not control. That's smart.
Oh, that's smart.
Why would you be with somebody if you're not connected? No, we weren't connected. That's why we're
That's
not
what she was
together.
saying. She
You
said
need to
that
listen
they
and stop
didn't
trying to be
connect,
funny.
which is why they are together.
See, he trying to act up. He trying to act up. Listen to what I said.
Flag on the play.
I
Penalty,
said
10-yard penalty.
we, the
Correct.
two of us, did not match. Not to say that he's a bad person or I'm a bad person. There's nothing wrong. The two of us did not match. He then found someone he could match with. And that's all that I'm saying.
So you're saying that he was compatible, and that's how he found somebody he could
He
match
was
with.
compatible with the person that he found, yes.
And you just haven't found anybody compatible with you.
Not that I'm ready to marry, no.
So, okay. I completely understand. Every man understands, too.
Say what? I can't hear him.
He said he understands, and he says every man understands as well.
Okay.
It's really like that once you get to a certain time, as a man, we look at women and we say, you know, you are too smart, you are too pretty not to be married, you know? So at a certain age, we start looking like, well, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Are you this? Are you? Because it's like, you know, at a certain age, a beautiful woman with things going on in life that's single and not married or never been married, men start to look at her like, okay, something must be wrong because nobody wants to be compatible with her.
That's a wrong thinking. And unfortunately, we think about like that same thing with men. Once they get into a certain age and no kids, haven't been married, there's something, we think that there's something there. I choose to think that that person is just being smart. One, you don't have, who says you're supposed to have kids when you're 40 years old? Like, that's not a stamp of manhood that shows me, oh, you're a good man, you're compatible, that you've had a child. Two, if you're smart, you're not just jumping into marriage just to say that I'm married. If you find someone who you truly want to spend the rest of your life with and go into that union with the mindset that we're not going to divorce. This isn't a game. If I'm choosing you and you're choosing me, we are going to commit to being together forever. And I don't take that lightly. I'm not going to get caught up in the warm and fuzzy feelings and the butterflies because that pass. When things come and I can see somebody's character or they can see mine and it's just something, a friendship isn't there at the end of the day, there might be lust and attraction and all those things, but if there's no true friendship and there's no foundation, then I'm not going to continue that relationship in the to please society to say, oh, I have a boyfriend or I have a man or I'm about to get married, I have a fiance, but I'm in a loveless marriage. Negative. I'll be single before I do that. I am, and that's why. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be married. What's the problem? They are. You can be not married. That means you're single.
If you're not married, you are single.
Thank you.
So I'll give you that.
I'm dating, but I'm not married or in a committed relationship. The question is, why don't I want to be married? Let me correct that. It's not that I don't want to be married. I have yet to find someone whom I want to marry.
She hasn't found anybody that meets that
So have
standard.
you been proposed to?
Oh, that's not true.
So you have been proposed to?
I have.
And you told them you broke some young man's heart.
We had to talk about it.
But you're not married right now, right?
No, I'm not married.
So I'll know what that conversation was.
We didn't get married. It was rushed. It was caught up in the moment. And look, you weren't serious. He wasn't serious.
But
when
where
we
is he
really
now?
talked about it, he just got caught up.
And now he wanted to be married. And
No.
that's what he
He's
that's
not
all
married, though.
And he's not married?
No.
Because he waiting on you.
Okay. Well.
He's gonna be waiting a long time.
Well.
Well, so dating 407-894-1680 407-894-1680. That's the number here. Give us a call. Join the conversation. We're talking about rules of dating. So single people, give us a call. Let me know what's the rules of dating. I'm a married man, so I haven't dated in a long time. So let's talk about the rules today. Ms. McCray, Mr. King, both of you guys are single, if you will. You may be dating, but you're single because you're not married. But tell me, give me a rule. Give me one of your rules. What are your rules?
Rule number one. I feel that rule number one would be to have everything you expect me to have. If you expect me to have it, you need to have it yourself. That's rule number 1 with me. If you want me to have entertaining conversation, please have entertaining conversation yourself. If you want me to have a car, please have a car yourself. If you don't want me to stay with my mama, please don't stay with your mama yourself. That's rule number 1 with me. Please don't expect something that you cannot provide. A lot of women, in my opinion, expect things that they cannot provide. I think I'm going to go on a rant, and I'm going to call it expecting what you cannot provide. Amen.
There you go. He says his first rule, Mr. Craig, is don't expect them to have anything that you don't already have yourself, Mr. Craig. Mr. Craig, I want to hear what you got to say about that, Mr. Craig. Because I know you got something to say, Mr. Craig.
I'm just going to sit back and smile.
407-894-6080, 407-894-6080. So Mr. King says his first rule is to not expect for you to have anything, or don't expect him to have anything you don't already. Don't expect him to have anything you don't already. So if you meet that requirement, that's his first rule right there. So tell me about your rule, Ms. McKay. What's your first rule?
I can agree with that. The standards that I'm looking for in a mate, I would hope that he comes with just the basic necessities. Have a car, a working car, have a place to live that's his own, a job, preferably a career, something that is upward mobility, and just common sense. When you connect with somebody, everything else kind of can fall into place if you meet those basic standards. I just need you to be just a man.
All right, so Mr. Cray says
take care of your business.
You need to be a man, so that means you have a car or a vehicle, some kind of mode of transportation. Doesn't matter if it was a 1970.
It just needs to be a car.
It needs to work. Okay, all right. So it needs.
So I can have a scooter.
Being that it's 50 degrees outside,
and I got to the radio station,
we gonna just meet.
And that's why I say you need to provide what you require, because
so
that
you
is
want
the
her to
main
drive
reason
herself?
I have a scooter.
You want her to drive herself?
I want her to meet me there.
Okay.
Don't beat me there. Meet me there. That is the main reason I have a scooter, because as a guy, I get so tired of, you ain't no man because you don't got no car, but I don't have no car. No, you the man. They even look at me on the scooter and be like, where I'm supposed to sit? In your mama car, I guess. I don't know where you supposed to sit.
And their mama car, Mr.
I guess so, because if you can't provide it, you don't need to be worried about it then. Like, people look at me because I got a scooter in 50-degree weather, I guess, Miss McCray. And I'm getting them. I'm getting from A to B, and after I leave here, I'm going to C.
And I am happy for you, because that's your mode of transportation, and it gets you from A, B to C and D
safely.
Chris Shaw's in the building. Chris Shaw, what you got to say, Chris Shaw?
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing all right, man. Talk to me.
Listen, everybody got different rules, different regulations for dating. And, as I was sitting listening, I was one of those brothers who didn't have a car, and I traveled on a bus. And the bus got me to and everywhere from my destination. But then, too, I went to go pick up my date from her house, got her on the bus with me, and took my date wherever we needed to go via the bus. But my question, I wanted to know, what is considered a man?
Because that sounds like a real man to me. It take a real man to go on a date on the bus.
But that's me, though. And I grew up a little bit different than everybody else.
And I'm telling you the truth. A lot of men would be like, they'll make up some kind of excuse. A lot of women would make up some excuse not to get on the bus, like the bus isn't there for that reason, to take you where you need to go when you don't got a car. But in Florida, they down the bus. You go up north, the bus is just what it is.
They ride the train, everything.
But
most people up north don't even own cars.
I grew up differently, though,
right?
And that was me.
Right.
And I didn't need a car. We had city transportation that got us to and fro. But the most it's those moments that I enjoyed when I went to go pick her up, got her, walked her to the bus stop. We walked together, paid for her to get on the bus, took her out to eat or whatever the case that I had to do, and then took her back home on the bus, walked dark in a neighborhood that I probably shouldn't have been in, but thank God for grace that I made it back to my house safe and sound. So, everybody is different. And my question is, what is a man? Because oftentimes a woman always say she wants a man, just like a man always say he wants a woman. So what is a man or what is a woman? That's the question.
Right. In a sense of a date, I would think a gentleman.
Okay.
Let's clarify that. So a gentleman, and we've discussed it before. If you're asking me out on a date, my expectation is that you are going to pay throughout that said date. If it's, let's say it's a day date, and we meet for breakfast or something or whatever the first activity is, and you pay, I'm still going to offer. I'll still offer. I'll offer to pay a tip. I'll pay for the next event that we do, or just so that it's not so much pressure on that man. Most of the gentlemen that I've dated will refuse my offer, but they appreciate that I offer. So when I talk about like a gentleman, what's a man, open the doors, the simple things, like be respectful. Don't try to come up on me and think you're going to get some on the first date. Like, no, let's get to know each other first. Let's have a conversation. Let's just enjoy each other. And so with a manhood, I'm talking about somebody who is responsible, is a gentleman, who will take the time to get to know me, and that we can get to know each other. Because I think we talked about that last week. We talked about people don't get to know each other enough. And that's really what it's about. Just respect.
Okay. So the main thing that's needed in every relationship, respect and chivalry. In other words, so you want a brother that's gonna come, not ring the doorbell, not blow the horn.
Not blow the horn. No.
And say, "Hey, Keisha, we here. Let's get it."
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And and men expect the same thing. Like I would greatly appreciate. My wife does that all the time. Hey, I'll pay for the tip. No problem. Cool, bet it up, and I take care of everything. But then too, as a man, you got to know how not to go outside of your means.
Absolutely.
I'm not finna try to impress you by going to Red Lobster for dinner for that night, and then take you to the little Chateau de Ville over on Disney World over there. I'm not finna do all that. Listen, our day gonna start off. We gonna go to the beach and hang out. I'll make a couple of PJ sandwiches because I'm on a budget.
Yeah.
And if you can respect that, we might work out just fine because that's what I do.
That's
Brother Chris,
real though.
Brother Chris,
That is real.
That's real.
how long have you been married?
I've been married 4 years now.
Oh, okay. Because in 2014, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the beach,
it don't work.
that don't work. That don't work. And then that's the only thing that I'm saying. Like, I hear a lot of these tactics, but in 2014, the women in Florida and Orlando, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear you not having no car. They don't want to hear you making no peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. If you're not spending any money, they really don't want to hear that. They may offer to pay also or give a tip, but they want to see, oh, well, I deserve to be treated like this, so I want to see if you're going to treat me like that.
Well, here's what I say to that. I think that's probably going to depend on you as a person and then how you approach them as well, because I think, one, if you're right, if that's what they say and, they're not hearing anything else that, they don't want to, quote unquote, we'll call it work with you, then one, that's key to tell you that's probably somebody you don't want. That's number one. So that's a good thing because now you know to cross them off your list. And then two, though, I think if you're dealing with a real woman, someone that is willing to at least hear you out and hear why you making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Like, find out what's the reason why you don't have no car. What's going on in your life that you choose not to have a mode of transportation in Orlando, or what's going on in your life that you want to make PB&J sandwiches and then go to the beach. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women need logic. They need to understand why is your mode of transportation the bus. Is your mode of transportation the bus because you have a business that you're building and all the money you get goes towards your business, and so you ride the bus until you can get a car because every little change you get, you'd rather spend it on your business? Okay, all right, then I'll ride with you on the bus.
Right.
It kind of depends on, again, how you come at them, where you come, and then can they get and vibe with your logic. 407-894 1680 is number 407-894-1680. Go ahead, Chris.
But see, that's just like the first date rule that I used to have. My first date rule was real simple. I want to see, most women are shy when you take them out to eat. They ain't going to try to eat all this. They ain't going to, listen, I know from the very first date we go on, if I take you out to an all-you-can-eat restaurant and you can get down, I know for a fact that, listen, you'll be willing to go any and everywhere and be receptive to the way we do things. If you don't want to go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant and you want me to take you all the way out to somewhere where you want a steak meal or whatever, we got a problem. Because I look at it like this. An all-you-can-eat restaurant, a lot of people don't like to eat there because everybody and their mama's out picking over food, breathing over food, hands going in this, touching in this, and touching in that. Understandable, and I got that. That's why I pray before I eat, first and foremost. But what I'm saying is, if I can take you out like that, then I know I can take you out to the beach and make you a PB&J sandwich, and you'll like it because it's just a mere fact that we having a conversation and we're just going to hang out. That's just my logic. Now, if you say, look, I ain't going to no all-you-can-eat place. Listen, you taking me over to Olive Garden. Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Because I don't think we're ready for that. We're not ready for that kind of committed relationship. If I'm just dating, we could be able to go any and everywhere. And then after we date, I can go see somebody else if I want to because we're not in a committed relationship. We're just dating.
And she can too. So you
And
can't
I
be
ain't
mad
mad
if
at
you
it.
see her at the Olive Garden with somebody else who will take her. But it was funny you said something like, I will ride with you if your logic is every penny is going towards my business. Now, go back to last week. Oh boy, he was spending his money on a PlayStation, video games, and riding the bus. Like, that's a problem. That's a disconnect there for me because your priority, your main mode of transportation to get you from work, because the bus wouldn't always go straight to where his job was. So sometimes he'd have to get picked up and then taken or walk, whatever the case may be. You spending that money on Jordans and a PlayStation 4 or whatever the number was that's out now, as opposed to getting your car fixed. That's where I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna ride the bus because you're not progressing in a way, in a manly way, taking care of your business that I can roll with.
But why doesn't she have a car? Because, every opposite should attract something else. So if he doesn't have a car, you should have a car. Instead of getting mad that we riding the bus together, I think that's how.
Well,
if I don't have one, you should have one.
It's established that in this situation, I had the car. And so after a while, it got very old for me to be picking up a grown man when then I see, oh, I'm going to get my car fixed. I'm going to get my car fixed. I'm going to get my car fixed. Can you drop me by Walmart so I can go get the newest video game? You know what? I'm going to drop you home and we're not going to see each other again. Because if this is your mentality, like, I can only ride with you for so long. So
you gave it a shot.
I didn't immediately walk away. Because I was like, okay, because like you said, I thought maybe he's saving towards something. Because he wanted to be on his own barber shop and all these things. But when you, again, buy the PlayStation and the Jordans and you haven't gotten your professional license for said business, that mindset to me doesn't connect. And so I was like, you know what? You're a great guy. We just not going to vibe.
But see, then too, a lot of people don't have that mentality. A lot of men, I'm just going to be real. A lot of brothers don't have that mentality of business before pleasure. I grew up stating business first,
right,
and then handling whatever else I desire later. And a lot of women don't have that mentality either, because a lot of sisters out here nowadays, sad to say, they'll do whatever the guy would need to be done. I know a young lady who was going out for years with one dude paying his rent, paying his car note, and picking him up and taking him any and everywhere that he needed to go when his car was messed up. And I looked at it, I said, listen, you crazy.
You're enabling him.
Right.
He's not going to man up to take care of what he needs to take care of.
And he didn't work for almost 3 years while they dated.
No. No. Oh my God.
You're right. Ching. There it was. and if you get a guy that's like that, then you set yourself up for failure.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But these sisters be in love with them kind of guys.
Yeah. You gotta recognize it.
When they see a real man, they don't know how to respond and they don't know how to act.
Cha-ching.
Right. Exactly.
You recognize it. I was like, no, this isn't gonna work.
I had to piggyback on Brother Shaw. I agree completely. They don't recognize a real man, so when they see one, they try to treat him like they do them other fools. And ain't no real man gonna put up with none of that.
No,
Not this one.
no doubt. Just like a woman, she's not gonna put up with anything that a fake brother gonna do.
Right.
Cause it's some things. I love my wife to death. It's some things that she does that I just disagree with, but because she's my wife, I deal with it. And when we get through later, I'll talk to her about it so we can change something. Just like it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
I was waiting
Don't
for you
put
to
on
come
blast,
back.
man. Don't
to
put on
say
blast.
that she don't like that I do.
That's what I was waiting on you to say.
And I'm working on it.
I'm positive there's some things that
working on
she doesn't like. But you guys are
She
still...
got just 2 things. I got like a list.
Okay. You
But
sure she
that's
only
me.
got 2?
Because to me, my wife is the best thing that ever happened.
Amen.
She is perfect to me. I don't see any fault in her. Granted, maybe 1 or 2 things, but
Okay.
that's not even a fault. To me, that's not a fault because I can deal with it.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah.
When I told her when we got married, like you said, divorce is not an option. I don't care what we go through, no
Right.
matter what goes on.
Not an option.
Listen, I'm a ride or die, and I need you to be in agreement with me. And that was our commitment. And when she said yes, I do. Player, it was on and popping. And that's why she's my wife today. And she gonna stay my wife because we not getting a divorce. I don't care what nobody say.
All right.
And we don't let other people interfere in our relationship. And that's
That's
a
a
lot of
big
issues
one
that
right
go
there.
on
That's
today.
huge.
That's a big one right there. You got to make sure
Pookie and them stay down the street where
people
they
don't
belong.
stay down the
Right.
street, and anybody and everybody that has something to say, you got to keep it out. It's got to be about the 2 of you and what the 2 of you think and what the 2 of you want to do, and stick to that. Ride or die with it.
And besides,
You
I'm a
know?
linebacker. I run a hardcore defense, and that's what we do in my household. So that's what we do. A lot of people don't understand that analogy, but that's what we do. That's how we roll. My wife is like the quarterback, and I do the defense. In other words, what I'm saying is, I let her have control of what needs to be taken care of because I'm constantly out working. I'm always on the go. But when she called me and needs something, and need that effective decision, I'm there. And sometimes she just wait until I get home, and we just have to sit down and talk about it and agree upon it. But then too, when you call me, it's serious, and it's on and popping.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call me if it's not serious.
There you go.
I hit hard.
4 years in. I'm not mad.
4 years. Yeah, I'll have 10 come the end of the year
Woo
myself.
woo.
Oh,
10
congrats, man. I'll be
years.
behind you next week.
10 years.
10 years. 10
But
years.
my wife and I, before we got married, we dated 10 years.
Okay.
We dated 10 years.
To see y'all knew each other.
You can say we knew each other. Yeah, you can say we knew each other.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready. She was probably ready 3 years into the relationship.
2 to 3 years into the relationship.
Right,
I'm sure
but
she was
I
ready.
wasn't ready because I knew I wasn't going to be forced to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people who are forced into a relationship or forced into marriage, they end up in that divorce because they're unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody force you into doing anything that you don't want to do. Mama, daddies, aunties, uncle, whomever. Do it when you're ready.
Absolutely.
And that's what I had to do. I had to wait till I was ready. I wanted to be established in my career and what I wanted to do and wanted to achieve. It's not all the way there, but I'm still pushing forward. So that's date. People date.
That's what I'm saying.
Date.
Look,
Date. Go
until
visit.
you're exclusive, until the 2 of you have had this discussion, you are my woman, you are my man. And for me, I take the man's lead. If we're together or not, I'm going to date multiple people. And what that means, we have to define that nowadays because some people think, oh, you date, that means you sleep with this man. No. Dating, getting to know people, going out, hanging out, taking turns, paying for whatever. If we go out Friday and you say, hey, I got an idea, let's do this. I say, okay, well, Sunday, let's do this. My treat. Let's go back and forth and just get to know each other and hang out. I can do that for multiple people until we decide, or one of those situations I decide to pursue a little harder, or that person reveals himself to me. I just don't see the problem with dating multiple people. You just have to be careful with when you cross that line. And that's the problem, I think, in our society nowadays. People are crossing that line a little too fast.
I have a question. The only problem I have with dating multiple people is how are you supposed to get serious about somebody that you're dating if you dating multiple people? I can't take one person serious if I know I got 4 more that I'm going to go on a date with later on this week. How am I supposed to take you serious, and how are you going to take me serious if you dating multiple people? I know you're going to have a fancy smancy answer, but it's kind of it's kind of like I just don't agree with it, because it's like if you dating 5 people now and none of y'all serious, how you going to take me serious and I'm number 5? I know you're going to have an answer, but it's like, no, that's not good.
Because it doesn't take long to know when you kind of connect with somebody. For me, if I go out with somebody, I can know, okay, I'm probably not going to see this person again. So for me, it's more just a conversation. We're not going to hang out as much. And it's when when we make that connection, then I will gravitate towards that one person. And it's not going to be 5 people. For me, it's just whom I'm going out. You want to take me out? Let's go out. Let's go hang out. Let's get to know each other. But at some point, it makes sense to the person that you gravitate to and that you're going to want to spend more time with. That's what I found.
Back then, back then, I did this. And it's always been a rule of thumb. I had a young lady who I would talk on the phone with. I had a young lady who I will only be seen in public with. There was another young lady who I knew that I can go out, hang out with, and have fun, and don't mind being around my guys and my friends and hang out with us. The other young lady that I hung out in public with was only in certain places, certain areas. I didn't see her around my guys. All right? And then you had the neighborhood girlfriend. I'm going to call them exactly what they are, because that's what they were to me. They were different girlfriends because we dated. I didn't sleep with any of them, not a one of them. Mm-hmm. Because I was scared. I was scared. Because after talking with them, hanging out with them, listening to their lifestyle, yeah, you know the one. Because everybody has a different lifestyle that you have to cross. And you're going to cross everybody's path, some way, form, or fashion. And the 5th girl that I finally decided that I wanted to be with, she went off and went to the Marines. And I had to let her go because I thought she was going to just come back Full Metal Jacket or something.
It wasn't
taking that chance.
Right.
A mess.
And I think too though,
that's it.
I think that's the concept though. You date multiple people all at the same time. You know, one, to learn about yourself, because now you can help to see what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like. And you can kind of, as Chris was suggesting, he had those 5 different ladies that he was hanging out with, and he could see and piece together what he liked about each one, so that when he was looking for that one, you kind of have some of the traits that you're looking for because you're used to and understand people. You know, I think the concept of dating is just that. It's the way to understand people so that you can better understand what you like as a person, and then you can better understand what you're looking for in an individual, because until you get to know people, I think it's really hard to really decipher that, sitting back at the house all by yourself. You see what I'm saying?
That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, see, no, we in our 30s.
When I came to college.
So we know ourselves. If you in your 30s and you don't know yourself, then something's wrong with you. But if you in your 30s, I disagree with you dating multiple people to try to get to know yourself or any reason.
The same rules still apply. It still apply because you got to get to know who these ladies are, or ladies, you got to get to know who these men are.
But not at the same time.
No, they don't have to be at the same time.
But Miss McCray is saying if I'm dating you and you don't want to take me to Olive Garden, don't get mad if the other brother I'm dating take me to Olive Garden because you ain't want to.
I'm just saying.
and I can't get mad.
I don't agree.
You can't get mad at that, though.
I'm not dating. I'm not juggling a basketball team or a football team. But if it's 1, 2, maybe 3, I'm saying that's a lot of energy.
That is a lot of energy.
If it's 1 or 2 or 3 different people that you're kind of interested in, getting to know and spend time, I don't see the problem with that until one of those 2 decide that you want to be exclusive.
Let me tell you the problem with that. Me as a light-skinned brother.
Okay.
If I'm dating 3 different women. If I take one out, then take one out, you know what they call me? You know what I am considered to be? But if a woman do it, she got options. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's why I disagree with it. Double standards that women have, I do not agree with.
Well,
if a
let me say
man
this,
take
though.
out 3 different women in the same day just because, one didn't want to go bowling and I want to go bowling. The other one wanted to go out to eat and the other one wanted to go to the movies. It's not okay for a man to do that.
If
That
you're
is a
honest.
womanizing man.
Well,
you are womanizing.
Be honest.
I think you have to be honest. If you're honest, and all three of those ladies, whomever they are, if they know that you're not exclusively dating none of them, and they are I'm gonna say real women, and they understand that you're not exclusively dating any of them, then I don't really think any of them would necessarily have a problem with you with seeing multiple people, because if they were real women,
I see
they
what
are
he's
probably
saying.
seeing multiple people themselves.
I see what he's saying, because most women in our 30s automatically assume, are we together? We dating. We together.
See,
How far into the so hypothetical? If you and I meet, and I know you're married, so wife, this is hypothetical.
We good, boo.
I'm just saying, if you and I meet and you like, hey sister, let's go out, let's go kick it. We just we're getting to know each
Just
other.
hanging out.
Just hanging out. I'm not gonna be mad at you and be like, hey, I'm going out with old girl or another friend. That's not we're just hanging out. Now, if months down the line or at some point you're like, you know what? Let's do this for real. Let's put some serious time into let's see where we can go. Then that's a whole different conversation to me.
I agree, because it is different. But if we was to first meet,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hey, listen, let's go grab some ice cream. That'll be my first thing. Let's go grab
Perfect.
some ice cream, and we'll have a conversation and talk. 2 days later, I call you back. Hey, you busy? You want to go do such and such, whatever the case may be. If you agree, you agree. If not, you disagree. Then I'm gonna go call somebody else and say, hey, I want to go hang out tonight. Let's go do such and such, such and such. You can't get mad. But a lot of women in their 30s, or they consider to be in their prime, we first meet. Oh man, look, he took me out such and such. That's my boo. That's my man.
But that's a lot of. But again, that goes back to, who are you dating?
Right.
Are you dating the real woman who understands the world and understands what dating is?
That's the key.
Or are you dating she's older, sure, but clearly if she's upset because you date multiple people, then she's not mature enough in herself. Again, to me, that's like, okay, I need to cross that one off the list.
See, that's
because she ain't ready.
That's a brother who been married
She
10
ain't
years.
ready.
That's a brother who been married 10 years.
Mr. McCray agrees with
I
me.
agree
That's a sister
with
who
She's
you.
still dating.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. We ain't
I'm
gonna get
just
on that.
saying.
She's still dating. We ain't
And
gonna
you
get on
are
that.
too.
But I have my reasons though.
Oh, okay.
I choose to be
You
single
have
because
your-
of my career.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Will didn't marry Jada right off. Anyway.
Okay. Okay.
This is all I'm trying to say.
on.
The women these days, most of them, like Brother Shaw say, once we dating, if I see you with another woman and y'all hanging out or whatever, they feeling some type of way. That's all. It's not as smooth as you saying it is. It's nothing like that.
Women run off emotions,
Right.
and they not a lot. I'm not gonna say a lot because my mama don't. Not just being real. A lot of women run off emotion, and if we go out a couple of times, some women, not all, just some women automatically assume y'all in a relationship.
Majority.
So and that's what he's saying. And yes, there are women out there that are like that.
I agree that there are. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And there's some men. Please believe
And
there's
there's
some
men out
men.
there, too.
Oh,
You're right. It's
why
both.
you
It's
out with
both
somebody
sides.
else?
We
go
I
out
just took
once.
you to Olive Garden.
Oh, what?
I just took you to Olive Garden. We together, girl. No, we not.
Don't get the cheddar biscuits. You get the cheddar biscuits.
We together.
You
no,
mine.
No, we not. No,
was
we're
mine.
not. So it
Because of
really,
the cheddar biscuits
The
first.
cheddar biscuits.
it depends
The
on
fans are free, right?
The fans don't get this. But if I take you there, I don't care if you order salads. You was mine.
There.
No, it depends on the person you're dating. If you're dating somebody who's caught up after 1 or 2 dates, or impressed, or thinking that they control you or own you to this relationship, that's a red flag for me.
I mean, I agree if they think that we're some kind of way after a certain amount of dates, but if I decline to take you to Olive Garden and then I just so happen to ride by Olive Garden and I see you going in there with another man, I find that completely disrespectful. And if I roll by with a water gun and wet you up, don't get mad.
But why is that disrespectful?
That's
though?
Why is that
disrespectful.
disrespectful?
You just talking about women get all caught up.
We just went
That
to the
sounds
movies.
like an emotional man.
I think so.
We just went to the
I think
movies.
so.
I spent $10.50 per ticket. Now you gonna get mad because I couldn't afford Red Lobster, and you gonna call another man and be like, well, I did want to go to Red Lobster. Now you gonna go with him? That's just completely disrespectful.
But have you exclusively told this woman we are together?
It's not about that.
It is about that
about that.
because
No, it's not.
I can
It is about that,
go with
It's the fact
whoever I
that
want to.
how you gonna go out with me, spend up my money,
You asked.
and because I could have went with somebody who actually cared about me.
That's not saying she doesn't care though.
What that's saying. I care about going out with you and going where you want to
We
go.
hung out. That was our time.
Now I'm
And
going to
as
hang
we
out with so-and-so,
continue
and let me get
to
that time.
Get to know each other.
That's too much
sure.
time. You got too much time on your hands. I
No,
thought you
we
was a
don't.
career woman.
Listen, I don't know who you been messing with.
Nah, I don't mess with women like that. They go on multiple dates in one day.
Who's
Talking about you
date?
ain't taking me to Olive Garden, so don't get mad if Tom is.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Don't get mad.
Here's what
Don't
here's
get
what I
mad
would
if
say
I
to that.
roll by with a water gun.
Here's what I would say to that
Hurt
though,
feelings.
Mr. King. Though, to me, if you guys were hanging out, and then you guys, you went to the movies or whatever, and then I guess you ended and you guys went your separate ways. So now it's maybe the evening time or something, and now that person is out at Red Lobster. See, to me, I wouldn't see the conflict, because if you wanted to hang out with her for the rest of the day, then you had her. So why aren't y'all still hanging out, regardless of whether or not you went to Red Lobster or wherever you went to eat? I mean, if y'all were hanging out enough to go to the movies, y'all could have been hanging out later in the day. So again, that sounds emotional to get
No.
upset because
That's not
y'all
the case.
ended y'all time and now I
If
chose to do something else. That sounds emotional. to me.
If she told me she wanted to go to Red Lobster, I told her I couldn't. Right now, the way my bank account is set up, my savings and my check-ins, so everything is in the savings. So I got to wait for it to transfer to the check-ins so I can take you to the movies and Red Lobster.
Okay,
So
Kevin
once she
Hart.
found out we couldn't go to Red Lobster, she made plan B to go to Red Lobster with somebody else. And that's why I'm not hanging out with her for the whole day.
Well, and here's what I say to you again though.
Get some
if
money.
y'all are dating,
Yeah.
you might need to get some money.
Yeah, you
But
might
but,
wanna
but
get
if
some
y'all
money.
are dating and that's the way that she does things and you don't like it, again you cross her off the
Cross her
list.
off.
Quickly.
You
Quickly.
cross her off
That's
the
what you do.
list.
Cross
That's
them
why
off.
you dating, because you
Gone.
get to know how she is.
Can
Yeah.
I see?
And if you don't like how she is,
And that's that type I don't
Then
like.
But
cross
if you
her off
didn't
your
tell
list.
me that we're exclusive
I got
and
it.
you're not my man,
You supposed to
then
just know.
I'm going out with.
What happened to the women that
whoever.
read your mind?
Oh my God.
What happened to
my
those
God.
women that just
This
know
the
what you
same
was
man
thinking?
that says,
clothes.
women, we can't read your mind. We don't
never
know what
said
y'all thinking.
What happened to that woman that just, I know how a man likes to be treated. Every woman is so concerned about chivalry being dead. But what's the word for when a woman treat a man like he's supposed to be treated? Don't nobody even know the word. We know chivalry. Look, kids know chivalry. What's the opposite that women supposed to be doing? What's that word? Anybody?
But how is
kingship?
Kingship. I like that.
Kingship.
Kingship.
the
What's my
loyalty
kingship?
comes when we are exclusive.
Oh Lord.
When you as a man say, woman,
Disagree.
this I want to pursue you. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where our relationship goes. Then yes, I will say, you know what? Let's figure this out. If you tell me I'm exclusive, I will stop answering the phone calls to John, James, and Tim.
I disagree with that. Regardless of the fact, as a man, you treat every woman like a queen that she is, regardless of the fact. I don't care what she got going on in her life. I don't care how rugged she might be, regardless of whatever. Kiki on the corner over there, I would talk to her and treat her as the queen that she is, because a lot of women don't get that kind of love. So somebody has to do it. So as a man, you have to treat a woman as a queen, regardless. We know she might be A, B, C, Y, and D. That's her. But you still have to treat her as a queen.
But
Point
why
blank.
men don't get that respect? Why we can't be
Because-
treated
and
as
that's
a
the
man?
problem.
But what
and
do you-
Because-
that is the problem.
That's the
because
problem.
most
That
women
is
feel
the
like
major problem.
because most women feel like a man has to earn that. Whereas a real man, no, he should be treating every woman like you say as a queen.
Gentlemen.
Women feel like men have to earn that right,
And that
to
is
be
the problem.
to be treated as a king, if you will. And that's gender related, I think, because as men, that's how we grow up. When you're trained by a man or even by a woman, they treat you to treat that woman, every woman you meet, as a queen, if you will, for the most part. But women don't get that, I don't think.
'Cause see,
Or let me not say that. Women get that for that one.
right.
They say, when I meet that one, then
Oh,
I will treat that
absolutely.
one
You are
that
my
way. But
king.
they don't necessarily treat every man that they date
But
that
I'm not
way.
saying treat him as a king, but treat him as a prince. Treat him as a prince, because regardless of the fact, you never know, that might turn his whole outlook to something totally different. Like, and the reason being, if I treat you like a queen every single time I see you, every time we meet, you're gonna go ahead and change your whole mentality about the way men are. Right. Vice versa, women do the same thing. If you treat a men gonna.
But 20 seconds.
We got 20 seconds here. I see. So
my 20 seconds is up.
Well, yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me. And we will see you next week. This is your host, Jay Real. This is Real Family Talk. Remember, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. right here on WOKB, your urban empowerment and inspirational station. What was that, brother? We got, 10 seconds left? Oh, there it is. Follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.